To the administrator, I mean, how long can a train be? I have trains now running up the Willamette Valley that are 15,000 feet long, going through city centers. How long are we going to allow people to block emergency vehicles? These are mostly at-grade crossings. I mean, is there any limit to how long they can make these trains?
There is no limit as far as what you can make a train regulatory. There is no limit that I'm aware of in timetables of railroads. However, railroads are very cognizant of what the physical plant will accommodate and what will be accommodated safely in its transversing of the route between points A and B.
Right, but what about, the rest of the country, the people who live in these cities, who need to get back and forth across a track, emergency vehicles are blocked, there's a hospital on the other side. I mean, you can run, don't you think there should be a practical limit on the length of trains that both serves the railroads for efficiency, but not their optimal PSR or whatever the hell you want to call it efficiency, but also is cognizant of the burdens placed on the rest of the people of the United States of America?
Chairman DeFazio, ordinarily it's not unusual to see trains operate with
15,000 feet long? I haven't heard of that before recently.
You'll see trains ordinarily in the range of 7,000 to 11,000 feet.
Right.
There have been exceptions where there's trains that have now grown to 15,000, 16,000 feet. The interesting part of it is, yes, the linear length of the train is more, without a doubt. But the number of freight cars in that train have only increased by 10 cars in the last 45 years.
Yeah.
So the integrity of that train, as far as mechanical reliability.
Right, but that's not the question. That's not the question I raised. The
far as
question I raised is the impacts on society of what they're doing, let alone the issues that are being raised by shippers and everybody else. I mean, how far are we going to let? I remember when Frank Lorenzo ran Eastern Airlines. We finally drove him out of the business because of what he was doing. But we're seeing the same thing here, started by a guy who's now deceased, that is infecting the railroads and making them subject to these inordinate pressures from Wall Street. And isn't there a point at which you're going to be concerned about the safety by the reduction of the number of employees and about the inconvenience for the rest of the United States of America because these companies are driving these trains as long as they can with as few people as they can? I mean, you don't have any concerns about this. You think this is all just hunky-dory?
I've had sincere commitment to safety since the day I was employed in the railroad industries in 1971, right up until the day I retired, and I still carry that commitment to safety.
Great. And you believe all these reductions in workforce are warranted and not jeopardizing safety in any manner?
Train length.
No, we're not talking about length anymore. I'm now talking about the number of employees who have been dismissed, laid off, so they can increase their bottom line.
Well, we certainly have incurred change. There's no doubt about it. When I hired out in 1971, we had around 700,000 employees. Mm-hmm. We're now down to about 150,000.
Okay, so you're basically going to say this is all just fine and we're being driven by Wall Street and you're happy with that?
No, I'm not happy.
Okay.
I'm trying to share with you the facts.
Well, the fact is, I'm going to what Matt Rose said and the concerns he raised because I thought that he was doing a hell of a job, and they aren't doing these things, and they're serving their shippers better because they aren't being driven by jackals on Wall Street because they were bought by a responsible long-term investment firm.
And for what it's worth, Matt and I share similar opinions.
Okay, well, then you should have some concerns about this PSR stuff. Anyway, thank you, Mr. Chairman.